Kind of like that, but you want to get underneath it first.
Right. The problem, yeah, it just sucks that you lose all your momentum. Okay, that was good. I didn't even realize what you were talking about, so good job. Nice. Oh. No, okay. Yeah, he was not fired, but people wanted him fired. Like 200,000 people liked some tweet about replacing him.
That's ridiculous.
And then when they got called out on it by James Gunn, they like ran like a bunch of pussies, which is really funny.
Did you see my stuff like floated?
Yeah.
Gross.
Also, I think it's hilarious that all these people were super into James Gunn and his political views and stuff because he leans far more left. Uh-huh. And then when a bunch of jokes from his past came out, people were like, no, he's a bad person. And it's like...
Yeah, but those were from his past. I'm sick of people pulling up jokes from, like, people's past and then deciding that people aren't allowed to change. I waited too long, sorry.
That's okay.
I was trying to gauge the time.
Well, I'm sick of people pulling up jokes from someone's past and acting like it's a serious thing.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, here's an idea. If you take every joke seriously, go fuck yourself. You're gonna have a really hard life.
It's just kind of ridiculous.
I just think it's funny. But, jeez, they put these everywhere.
I gotta hit that button.
Yeah, no, I don't know. People wanted him gone. It just was one of those things to me that was really funny, because it's like, one, he's not gonna be. And two, this is the last Guardians movie. He's played Star-Lord in what? Guardians 1, Guardians 2... Infinity War, Endgame, now Guardians 3. Like, you think they're going to cut him in his 5th movie? With, like, Don Cheadle, he came in as the replacement War Machine after one film. Mm-hmm. And even then, a lot of people thought it was weird. Mm-hmm. But they got used to it.
That's true.
So it's like
I honestly didn't recognize him at first.
Yeah, so it's like you really think that they're just gonna, I don't know. Oh, nice. Good job. I don't know, you really think they're going to replace the guy now? It's just silly. Whoa.
What is going on here?
I don't know, you just broke through the glass.
I broke through the glass ceiling.
Eating ass, breaking glass. Are we dead?
I don't know. Maybe this is our way to heaven. That was my heavenly music.
Is there music?
No, I was just making heavenly music.
There's no music right now?
No, there is. I was just making my own.
Well, I was just wondering if there is music or not.
Well, maybe you should be listening.
I can't. You have the headphones. Petition to replace Jill from the Let's Play channel. 200,000 likes.
This is very slow motion-y. Is anything gonna happen, or are we just gonna watch this kid, like, flip over in the grass a million times?
Flip over in the grass a million times. It's like Happy Wheels, but it's supposed to be emotional.
Happy Wheels.
Can you get up?
No.
Huh. So, is anything happening?
What if I died and they just took a really long time to
Wait, he opened his eyes.
Uh-oh. His eye is, like, blinking. Oh.
Yeah, he's awake.
Hello. Hello, child.
I'm just impressed that his hairstyle has survived this entire ordeal.
He used some really good gel. It was, like, serious mousse.
What are we looking at? Can you walk at all?
Oh, I can.
Okay, good.
Nice.
Did you just rip?
No, that was my string on my shorts. It was.
Sure.
Has he always had eyes that glow?
Yeah, the whole time.
I never noticed. They're kind of creepy.
Yeah, it's been for, like, all the hours we played the game.
It's a little creepy. I think he should get better eyesight.
I think we're at the end of the game.
Really?
Wait, that's a little girl.
Hey, that's the chick that we're in love with.
No, I think that's his sister. But depending on what state we're from, you might be right as well.
That's true. Alabama.
Alright, what's going on?
Hey, little sister. Now she turns into a monster and eats us, and that's the end of the game.
That would actually terrify me.
It would be pretty sad.
Is there music?
No.
Oh, no
Nothing.
music?
Just, like, wind sounds.
Is that it?
Yeah, I guess so.
So, were we reunited with our sister?
In heaven.
So, I'm confused. What...
We had to pass the trials to get through the gates of heaven.
Oh, you think we're in heaven now?
Yeah.
So you think that was purgatory?
Yeah, I think that was literally limbo, you know, and I think, like, because, like, some people call purgatory limbo.
What was the point of it? Like, what, did this kid do something bad? He's a child.
I don't know. I really couldn't tell you. I think it's a very abstract story.
Because that looks like the kind of limbo that would be resolved for, like, AH. Either one. Yeah. Either the one against Johnny or the one against the Jewish people.
Yeah,
They're both bad people, so...
I don't know, because, like, it seemed like he had to go through a bunch of trials to prove, like, that he was worthy enough to go to heaven, in my opinion. That's kind of what I got from it.
Worthy to go to heaven.
But, like, also he was a child, so...
Right.
I don't really get it. Maybe this kid, like, tried to be, Grindelwald, like, in his younger years or something. Where credit is due, perseverance has its own reward.
Huh. I mean, look, I've been ripping on some of the puzzles and stuff.
You've been ripping.
Literally every second. It was a good game.
Yeah, I thought it was a good game. Some of the puzzles were a little too hard, but...
I really liked the game a lot. I can see why people loved it. People said that Inside is a better puzzle game, so I'd like to play that eventually. It's from the same people.
Oh, we could play that next.
I don't know about next. I don't know
Likes
I don't know if he'll want to play it.
Texas Tinus.
He's been, like, putting off finishing this game for weeks. That's why we had to do it without him.
Well, I thought it was because he got COVID.
Did he?
Yeah, I thought he got COVID.
No, Nate got COVID.
Oh, well, Tinus had COVID beforehand, too. And then he was like, well, just finish it without me.
That's true. And then we got busy, and then last time we hung out with him, we went to a store.
Yeah, and then he was racist.
That's true. That definitely happened.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really like this game. I usually do, like, a little recap at the end of these games, unless I'm super sick of them. I'm going to be honest with you, I barely played any of this game. If I was the one playing this, I'm sure I eventually could have beaten it.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems like you need the patience of an actual saint on a couple of these puzzles.
That's true. I also think I'd probably need some of the lore explained to me through, like, some people's theories on lore videos or something. It just kind of seemed like it was a very abstract, art housey kind of game, if that makes sense.
Uh-huh.
And I think it's very much so everything is up to interpretation.
Do you want to hear some of the theories on it before we shut it off?
Yeah, if you want to tell everybody. Gather round.
Well, one of these is... I'm not... Some of these I'm not going to read because, like, maybe it's true, but one of these has to do with a movie called Old Boy. I don't know if you've heard of that movie.
No, I have not.
From 2003, which I don't want to spoil that movie, but they say that it's basically about that... blah, 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 blah.
Hey, wait, did you notice at this end screen, they're both dead and there's flies around their bodies?
I don't know if they are both dead or not.
It looks like down there is his hair and that's his sister. See? Do you see, like, the little outline of their bodies?
It could be, or it could just be dirt.
But then why would there be, like, death flies around them? In the same exact spot where they're laying, they were at the end of the game.
So are you saying that you think that he died in the forest and he had to make his way back to the place where him and his sister died?
Could've.
And that's how they got to heaven?
Yeah.
How'd they die, though? Like, did they fall from a treehouse or something?
Probably. It looks like the treehouse broke, yeah.
That wouldn't kill you.
There could have been a really bad storm. Look at the rain.
Yeah, it's possible. I don't know. That's interesting. Do you want to hear a couple of these theories?
Yeah.
The test theory. The boy dies somewhere in the forest. Oh, by the way, these are on the Limbo wiki.
Mm-hmm.
And is placed in his own personal hell where his fears are animated and emphasized to the most horrific extent possible. He had a fear of spiders, swimming heights, darkness, being controlled, and people and socializing. These fears may also represent something about his life. For example, he may have been controlled a lot by other people or bullied. Maybe darkness represents times of depression and swimming may represent struggle. It could be very vague. The boy is perhaps in a place he absolutely despises in the city, somewhere which he would do anything to get away from. The cogs could represent the city, somewhere that changed him drastically. Gravity puzzles, fear of heights, blah, 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 blah. The traps show his need for freedom, and the tribal boys represent loneliness or rejection. When he finally breaks out of Limbo, the place between life and death, the place where you have nowhere to go, he sees his sister burying him.
Oh.
Meaning his sister would still be alive. According to some religions, you can only escape Limbo and be decided of where you shall go. That's not bad grammar. When you are properly buried. That's actually a real thing, too.
Mm-hmm.
His sister buries him, and that is when the game actually ends. His decided place of rest, heaven or hell, is unknown. It is, however, probable that he was in a test throughout Limbo and passed it, earning his place in heaven.
I kind of think that's probably up there with what I kind of think happened.
How do you have to earn your place in heaven as a child?
I honestly don't know. Maybe he did something bad. I couldn't tell you. I kind of think that's what they were trying to get at with this story, and they were using a child figure to be like...
Was he like Dexter? Like,
I don't know.
What kind of stuff could he do as a child that would warrant that?
I think maybe they were just like trying to use child figures as like simplicity's sake or something.
Oh, you think he's not really a child? You think that he's
he could have been an adult and they were just using child figures for the game or something. I don't really know.
So, the fears theory, every obstacle in the game represents a fear of the boy. Blah, 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 blah. He finds his sister burying his body. However, he overcomes it all and reunites himself with his sister in heaven. Like, she was dead, too.
It seems like she's dead, too, because there's so many flies, and it looks like both of them are dead right there.
Journey through Limbo theory. Our hero, the nameless boy, wakes up in the middle of the forest, unknown of where he is or where he is going till the first achievement. As he travels through the forest, the spider represents his early life fears of spiders. As the spider dies, the boy realizes there are worse things to fear than the spider. As the forest changes to a more urban scene and introduction of a new enemy, the brain slugs. These slugs represent the government trying to control our hero, making him act like a puppet.
My goodness.
So that's one. I'm trying to figure out what these theories are.
I would like to hear in the comments the people who watched this, their theories.
There is one, the treehouse theory. The boy and sister fell out of the treehouse as it collapsed. The boy wakes up in limbo after dying and searches for his sister. Then he goes through all that stuff with loneliness. The rain would represent depression. Cogs represent structure and progress. Gravity represents falling down from the treehouse. At the end, he finds his sister. She is digging to be sure. If she is dead, and the boy realizes they are both ghosts.
Huh.
At the ending, both go to heaven. The treehouse at the beginning shows what had happened at the ending. When you crash, it is like he breaks through the limbo, but is still dead as he notices his sister digging like she is looking for something important. Blah, 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 blah. Some people think the boy himself could represent limbo, like
That's
reaching the girl.
Hmm.
Because the girl has no eyes, and maybe limbo is reached through the person who wrote this. I'm not trying to be an asshole, but I don't think they spoke English well.
No, probably not.
Because a lot of the people who actually take the time to do this stuff on Wikipedia are not white people.
That's true.
I'm not trying to be an asshole. I'm just saying, like, a lot of times, like, they're nice people who, like, got really into something. A lot of times
to share their knowledge.
Yeah, a lot of times they're, like, I've noticed a ton of these are filled out by people in India.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I'm not being an asshole. I'm just saying, like, they're passionate.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times, white people are the ones who just seem to look this shit up and
Hey,
not
are
write
you
it
saying
down.
white people are the only ones who speak English well?
No, I'm saying that they're lazy and don't want to share their knowledge with
Are you
others.
racist?
Against me, yes.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I don't know who these people are, because there's things like Bjorvi's theory, Randy's theory, the coma theory. Nameless boy and his sister fell out of the treehouse, driving them both near death. His journey to limbo is him in a coma, struggling to let go of the life he had. Blah, 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 blah.
That's an interesting one.
Possible that they both lived a sad life, seeing as limbo has a very depressing setting. And the only one who ever made them happy was each other, thus the boy's thirst to defeat his fears and rejoin with his sister. In the last puzzle, going through the glass wall represents his acceptance of his fears and his past, allowing him to find his sister, who was also looking for him by digging through the dirt under the treehouse. When they meet, it is both of them accepting a peaceful death together.
Aww.
The boy and his sister had fallen out of the treehouse. While being driven to the hospital, the car crashes or rolls into the forest. That's what some people say. Basically, there's just a lot of different...
I kind of think, based on how the tree branch itself looks destroyed and how there's so much rain and stuff, kind of think there was like a really bad storm while they were playing in the treehouse, and it hit the treehouse and caused them to both like fall out and hit their heads on rocks or something and just really like get hurt and die.
Yeah,
Something like that. Because like, how else would the treehouse be that damaged unless it was from a storm or age?
Yeah, but I would have said age because you have a rung from the ladder just hanging there by a thread, and I don't see how the storm would have done that.
Really bad storms, like hurricanes?
Well, I guess that's possible.
Because I've lived through some hurricanes.
I died in them, and I'm an expert on Limbo, so...
That makes sense. I mean, like, obviously I didn't go through anything like Katrina or anything, but I've had some pretty bad hurricanes in Maine where I'm from.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and, like, talking about, like, things that would flood the road and, like, make the windows shake and stuff. So I can imagine, like, a shoddily built treehouse would not survive that.
One thing that's interesting is the game developer said that he was not going to tell anyone, like, what it meant to him.
I bet he told somebody.
Well, he probably told, like, his family.
That's true.
So we just have to find them and ask them.
Yeah, we have to force choke them like Darth Vader to get them.
Okay, now settle down. That's a joke. Don't threaten anybody.
I was only kidding.
No, it's not okay. Yeah, it is the same screen. Although, look, at the ending screen of the actual thing, the ladder is intact, and so is the branch.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's why I kind of think there was a storm, and like the ending scene was him like finding his sister, and like everything looked kind of peaceful and perfect because they were finally finding heaven. But this is what the world actually looked like, and the reason why there's flies and stuff is because they're dead there.
Yeah, this was the top comment from Zeraphim 9 years ago. A brother and sister are playing in their treehouse when it collapses, killing both of them. Both are taken to Limbo, what some theologians consider to be the edge of hell or purgatory or whatever. A neither heaven nor hell kind of place. The sister is scared and runs away to get lost. When the boy comes in search of her, when the boy becomes conscious, sorry, I skipped a line, he realizes his sister is gone and goes out to search for her. When the brother and sister are reunited at the end game screen shows their two dead bodies surrounded by flies.
Yeah.
That's what you said.
That's kind of what I think happened. I think maybe Purgatory, maybe in this universe, is just pretty shit for everyone. Maybe he didn't even actually do anything bad. And, like, the reason he didn't pass on and go to heaven is because he felt like he had something he still needed to do, which was find his sister. He wasn't ready to pass on without his sister.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So it could have been something like that as well. I think it's a very deep and abstract game.
Some people actually, like another comment, that wasn't the top rated comment. Actually, maybe it was, because Reddit sorts these. No, it wasn't the top one, but one of the other top ones, because Reddit sorts these weird, was from this guy called Quakespeare, who said that he thought that the characters died in a car crash, that you relived analogies for different stages of their life.
Interesting. That could explain why he went through the glass, kind of like a windshield.
Yeah, because people said, like, he said there's the mysterious forest representing childhood, where everything seems strange and unknown, and spiders are the biggest fear. There's schools and their bullies, which is basically like the tribals attacking him and like, you know, trying to get him. A traveling job, a lonely life of flickering motel signs throughout the course of the game. Working in a factory, because there's huge portions of factory settings in the game. And then a car crash. You get thrown up, down, around, left, right, and at the very last moment you fly through what looks like a windshield.
Yeah. So that could be interesting. That could be like, you know, he lived an entire really sad life.
And was an old person or middle-aged or whatever, an adult.
Yeah, and when he died, he kind of reverted to the childhood part of his brain. You know, because sometimes when people go through immense trauma, psychologically, some of them kind of revert back to their childhood and are a bit childish, you know, and want to do things like play with toys or, you know, do childish things to help themselves cope, which isn't a bad thing. I kind of think it's, you know, just something that's harmless to help you cope.
It actually reminded me of this verse. It's Matthew 18:3. This is in the Bible. I thought it was interesting from, I believe Jesus had said, "Truly I tell you, unless you change and become like little children, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven."
What is that supposed to mean, you think?
Well, there's a lot of different things that it means, but a lot of it is like having childlike innocence, not being jaded and angry and taking your frustrations out on the world, being willing to accept things on faith. But it also does play into the idea of they were adults, and when they died, they kind of were like children.
Yeah,
you
they
know
reverted back
to
their innocence.
It's possible. It's just something I thought of.
No, I think it's interesting.
You have to remember, I went to a religious school for a long time.
Well, you know, the thing is, even if you don't believe in a lot of that stuff has a very big impact on the world and the stories that are in it and stuff. You know, like
archetypes and things like that.
Yeah, a lot of Bible things are actually in more stories than you'd think they would be.
Yeah, and even before that, the Epic of Gilgamesh, I believe, had a lot of the archetypical things that would go on to make it into the Bible, too. So it just kind of really depends on, you know, where you're from, but a lot of that stuff does influence storytelling.
I mean, at the end of the day, even if you don't believe in it, the Bible's a pretty good book.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. You got like a bunch of dudes with tons of wives killing each other in wars. There's like a guy who like gets murdered and comes back to life, and then he shows people the holes in his hands. It's pretty cool.
At the very least, it's entertaining.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. It was a good game. I think we spent probably 20 minutes at the end talking about it.
I do think we probably spent too long on some of these puzzles, but you know what? There's a problem where we're both stupid, so is Genius.
I think I liked Oh, did you have more to say about that?
Yeah, I was gonna say, and I think some parts were just a little bit too abstract for me, especially.
I was going to say that I liked the underlying talking about the possible meaning of the game more than I enjoyed playing the game.
I kind of agree with that, though I did enjoy some of the puzzles a lot. Some of them were just a bit too out there for me. I couldn't really figure them out, but I do really like puzzles like this because I play Nancy Drew like all the time, and there's a lot of stuff that's kind of like this in some of her mini game puzzles that you have to figure out. But to be fair, I have to look some things up every once in a while on that too, because it's just confusing.
I was gonna leave before we ended. I was going to say, yeah, it was a good game, and kind of leave it at that almost. But thinking about it more, I honestly think this game is elevated a lot by the possible interpretations of it.
I agree.
And like being able to talk about it, because to be completely honest with you, the last time I had a game where I probably talked about it as much at the end and had a really good time doing that. Well, Nate and I did after we stopped recording the first Kingdom Hearts, because there's a lot of stuff to talk about, but the only other game I can think of that made me do this recently was like Metal Gear Solid 1. Mm-hmm. And obviously that game has a lot more dialogue and a lot more things spelled out, but there's also a lot of things open to interpretation in it as well. And I really like games like that, because games like that and like this versus games like Call of Duty, which I still enjoy, I think they kind of capture the literature or artistic side of games where you can actually think about and talk about something and walk away with a different thought process. Same with like Dark Souls or Elden Ring or any of these things where you can have all these different, like, there is solidified lore where it'll be like, oh, well, Guinevere married the flame god Flan and this and that, but it's like, but wait a minute, did Guinevere go to not Lothric, I forget the name, like Lothal or whatever the name is of this place in Dark Souls 3. Was that her and these are her descendants, or did she go here, and what does that mean? Was this person real or symbolic in the lore? Those kinds of things with games like that, or games like this where you have a lot of interpretation on what happens in the story. I think that they really are important for gaming, because I think way too often gaming is seen as like, hop on with your friends and play some Valorant or play some Overwatch or play some COD or whatever, and that there's nothing wrong with that. But it's really interesting to be able to like really think about what something means.
Yeah, I mean, I really enjoy stories, especially that make you just kind of think afterward and that you can take lessons from into your own life. This one probably didn't teach like a ton of lessons, but it certainly makes a lot of people think. Yeah. And doing that can make you think about your own life in a lot of ways. And that's something why I, like, a couple of reasons why I really enjoy things like The Matrix, because it just really makes you think afterward. And it makes you question things. And, I don't know, I just find it very fun to come up with theories on certain things like this. I don't know, I thought it was a very good game. I wish I had played the beginning of it, but I can always watch it. Did you not? No, I didn't.
Oh, did you watch us play it?
Yeah.
Okay, got it, yeah. I mean, the beginning was fun, too. The nice thing about the beginning was it was toned down enough that even stupid people like me and T could figure it out.
That makes sense. But then it got harder. Yeah, and you had to have me.
Yeah, much like many things in life, it got harder.
The only one of us without a college education.
Okay, well.
Had to solve it for you.
Didn't really need that, but thanks. Anyways, thanks for watching. We appreciate it. I'm on my way to the courthouse for a little divorce, but I had fun. Thank you for helping me finish this. I appreciate it.
I thought it was very fun. Thanks for watching, everybody.
And T was sorry he couldn't be here, but at first he got sick. Then we got both busy for like 2 weeks, and it hit a point where we couldn't finish this within a reasonable amount of time with him, so we just wanted to get the other probably 2 or 3 parts done. So he will be back soon. Mm-hmm. So, see ya.
See ya.
Oh, please be sure to subscribe if you haven't. I'm sure you did. If you're made it this far.
Check out Tinus's OnlyFans.
Check out Tinus's Tinus.
Yeah.